Good evening everyone, and welcome to round 3 and another instalment of RWB International Racing and the penultimate race of the GTR4 and WTCR 18 League here at sunny Silverstone in Northampton. I am your host tonight, Padality. Unfortunately, our other commentary team members, Tiger and Speed, are unavailable and incapacitated hopefully tonight, so it looks like you're alone with the Scouser. Should be a very, very tight race tonight, guys. As I say, this is the penultimate round, with the final round, round 4, next week at the Circuit Zolder, also known as Circuit Telemann. So that showdown should be very, very interesting. Looking at the scoring for tonight, we've got a number of people on the grid, and it's actually quite tight, guys. We've got Silent Pod, who I believe is Lorenzo at the front, and he's actually clear of second place, who is Evil, by 21 points. So it's not sealed the deal yet, but Lorenzo is actually a bit of a. The guy seems to have actually come out of thin air and start schooling everyone. So props to him. So as you can see, we're actually following Lorenzo right now as he comes up to Stowe Corner. So taking a look at the field tonight, it's actually quite a mixed bag. It looks like a clear 50-50 split between WTCR 18 and GTR4 cars, so it should actually make for a very, very interesting race. We've got the usual names on the grid tonight. Justin Madley. We've got Jammer. We've got the Rastaclat Jerwegian himself, Hardy. Our very own in-house queer, Ferguson. Mark Bean. The ever-wise Cos. RWB Evil, just behind him. We've got Tenpin. Flack. H-Tune. John Haig. Pinpoint. Binnersley. FX. Charger. And Fredericos from Greece, apparently. I'm not too sure who that chap is, but I'm sure we will become acquainted. Little fun fact about FX for everyone, he's actually a Scouser, believe it or not. I've actually just found that out tonight. He was born in Fazakerley and he grew up in Bootle until he was 17. You would never know it because he does not sound like a Scouser, but I've a newfound respect for the guy. So what I'll do, guys, I will just leave it on auto director for the time being, just so it should flick through the pack. It seems to be heavily revolving around Lorenzo at the moment. I'm assuming that's due to his alien state, but it should flick through the cars just in qualifying, and I will keep you up to date on the timings just to see where everyone is. So if I go quiet tonight, guys, it's because I've actually run to the tap to get some water. My mouth is drier than Gandhi's flip-flop due to the nerves of commentating this race on my own. So thanks for that, guys. No, I joke, I kid. It's actually an honour and a privilege to be doing this for RWB tonight. Very, very happy to be in the commentary seat. So taking a look at the track tonight, guys, it is the Silverstone GP circuit, which is 5.8 kilometres in length, which equals about 3.6 miles in total, with 18. The current lap record holder being Lewis Hamilton, which he set this year actually in his Mercedes in F1, which is 1 minute 27.36. It'll be nice to see some of the boys out there cracking that time in a GTR4. There aren't enough aliens on the grid tonight to be doing that. And we're looking at roughly, by, I don't want to say my calculations, but FX's calculations, about 27 laps. So that does mean that we're probably going to see the GTR4s refuel due to the smaller tanks in comparison to the WTCR 18. So again, it's going to add a new dynamic to the race. So it should be very, very tight and very interesting. People are going to have to really, really work on the strategies tonight in order to keep it a level playing field. But as always, guys, we are live on YouTube. So if you do have any questions, or you've got any comments, or you'd just like a shout out, or you'd like to say something to one of the guys, please do put the comments in the channel for us, and we will answer as aptly as we can. So, taking a look at some of the comments in the RWB International YouTube channel at the moment, we've been asked if the WTCR or the GT4 will be quicker around here tonight, considering the ballast penalty. Now, that's a great question. It's a very, very good question. Now, obviously, there are pros and cons to each car. The GTR4s seem to be much quicker in a straight line in comparison to the WTCR 18s. However, the handling styles are much, much different, as I found out myself, which is actually one of the reasons I'm not racing, because I suck in them, which is unfortunate. But to be honest, it's very, very hard to answer that question. Very hard indeed. Because if I just take a look at the times at the moment, everybody's very, very, very close. Other than Lorenzo, who seems to be a second ahead of everyone. He's currently 1.4 seconds ahead in first place, which is a significant amount of time, especially in racing. In the real world, 1.4 seconds isn't a long time. In the world of racing, it really, really is, as many of you will know. Other than that, we're looking at roughly the same times across the board. So between second and 10th place, there's less than half a second between the drivers. So it's looking like an absolutely fantastic race so far. John Haig is currently putting laps of 2:13 in, and then we've got Jammer 2:13.6. Audi, our Rastaclat Norwegians, putting 2.137s in. So it's looking very close at the moment. Obviously, for those who haven't been tuning in for the last few rounds, there is a 50 kilogram ballast penalty on the WTCR 18s. That was implemented in order to really level the playing field a little bit, which it has done. The obvious downside to that is they're much heavier. The WTCR 18s require an awful lot more stopping time, so the braking before the GTR4s. Now, this is quite a technical circuit, not as technical as some others, but there are some technical corners which require a lot of concentration, very fast corners. There are big long straights, so we are going to see the GTR4s getting ahead of the WTCRs on the straights more than likely, but then they're going to make it up in the corner. So yeah, it's a very, very hard question to answer. Another question we've had is, do I prefer GT4 or WTCR? That's another hard question to answer, I'm afraid. I'm not a fan of either of the cars, but that's just my personal preference. Whereas a lot of the guys on the field tonight are absolutely phenomenal, blindingly quick in them, which to me is unbelievable. So, you know, respect to those guys. I actually preferred the GTR4s personally. They suited my driving style and my driving ability a lot more than the touring cars did. But that said, I'm still a load of rubbish in them. So there you go. So Tigers just asked the question in the stream: would I like to see weather in R3E? Yes, would be the short and simple answer to that. Yes, I very much would like to see weather, or some kind of day-night transition, or even for that matter, just day or night. That would be nice. That said, I'm assuming that will require a lot of work from the developers on their end, because it obviously affects the physics, it affects the time model and the handling of the cars. So to implement that into a sim which doesn't have it would mean a huge overhaul. So yes, it's good question. Whether it'll ever happen, I do not know. And on that note, guys, that looks like the end of qualifying. So as it stands, we've got Lorenzo in first place. As I said, the guy's an alien. He's actually nearly 2 seconds ahead of John Haig, who's our resident smug man, Mr. Smug, Rigel. In third place, we've got Mark Bean. Fourth place, we've got Jammer. Fifth place, we've got the Rastaclat Norwegian Audi, the man himself, who lives in the wood. Knows how to drive, he's always bringing the goods. Sixth place, we've got Tenpin. Seventh, Justin Madley. Followed by Rick Binnersley, H-Tune, Fergie, FX, Flack, Charger, Pinpoint, Cos, Fredericos, and Evil in last place. I wonder what's happened to Evil there. I must have. But I will come back to that, guys. I'll make sure that I find out what's going on there. And now we've got the warm-up, which is 5 minutes long. So get those tyres warmed up, guys. I'm sure that it's going to be an unbelievable race tonight. So anybody out there watching, please do stay tuned. Fire any comments, any questions into the channel. It's going to be a really tight one. So we are currently following Jammer on his warm-up lap. He's just gone through the loop, through Aintree. He's just going down the Wellington Straight as it stands towards Brooklands Corner. So what I'll do, I'll jump in the car with Jammer right now. I know we're halfway through. So coming around Brooklands towards Luffield, which is a really tricky, long right-hander with a super late apex. Anybody who's raced on this track will know that. We come around Woodcote now, and down the old start-finish straight towards Cops Corner, which is an incredibly quick right, and you can hear the tyres squealing, absolutely screaming at him. And again, the 50 kilogram ballast will contribute towards that. So as he goes through Maggots, which is the very, very quick yet tight left right, followed by a left and into another right. Now it's really tricky this set of corners because you have to do a lot of trail braking, you are braking and turning at the same time. Now in these WTCRs, for anybody that's driven them before, you will know that it's incredibly tricky with them being four-wheel drive. The brake balance can be very tricky as well. So coming down the Hanger Straight right now towards Stowe Corner. A very subtle left, he's actually coming into the pits, but that subtle left coming up there was Vale, coming down to the club chicane and towards the start-finish straight. So that wasn't quite a lap, guys, so I apologise for that, but yeah, you get the idea. So great comment there from Nigel, who has said he thinks that the weather and the day-night transitions would require a move from DX10 to DX11. Yes, it most certainly would. It would not be a small update at all. It would be a lot of work on the developers' behalf. It would be an incredibly mammoth task, I think. So I'll just take this into auto director again, so we're not just sat with the car in the pits. So we've got Mark Bean just coming out of the pits there on his GTR4. I'm hoping that we get enough time for him to do a lap, but it's not looking that way. As Tiger says, if RF2 can do it, so can Race Room. And I believe that's a very valid comment. And that's in regards to the day-night transitions, the push from DX10 to DX11. Now, for those of you who haven't raced an R Factor 2, I actually acquired it last night and I'm incredibly impressed by it. So I don't see why there wouldn't be the ability to do that from the guys at Simba. I believe it's Simba. Correct me if I'm wrong. I might be wrong. I'm sorry if I am. I'm just a simple-minded scouser.
I'll second that, mate.
And here he is, the second member of the commentary team. Looks like the Speed Demons just popped in to say hello to us. Thanks for that, mate. Thanks for just for popping up there and saying. I had no idea you were in here.
Yeah, I've literally just got back in the house probably 5-10 minutes ago.
Oh,
obviously.
So does that mean that we've got the Speed Demon with us for the dual racing tonight?
Yes, it does.
Excellent.
The guest is off to bed, so I've got my my time back.
Fantastic. That's very, very good to hear. So here we go, guys. That's the end of the warm-up. We've got 55 seconds until the start of the race. So it's going to be very tight. What do you think, Speed?
I think this is going to be an extremely tight race. Obviously qualifying's happened. I don't know who got pole already the lap times, but I think this track suits both the GT4s and the TCR cars. It's got a good mix of corners and long straights.
Yeah, I could not agree more. It's it's very much a mixed bag of tight technical corners, chicanes, and big long straights. And here we go, guys. So we're just waiting for the lights to go. And the lights are out. Here we go, Silverstone round 3, the penultimate round of the GTR4 and WTCR 18. Going into the first corner with Lorenzo taking the lead, unsurprisingly. Oh no, I take that back. Actually, Lorenzo's in 3rd place.
Yeah, in this league, in this way it's currently set up, the all TCR cars start in front of the GT4s. So even if the GT4s get a faster qualifying lap, just the way the race run works, that in multi-class, that with it being a higher performance index, the TCR cars start in front. So obviously, I think Lorenzo might have got the pole overall, but obviously just started like 3 or 4 cars back. He's better his way, quick way to the front.
Yeah, so what I'm going to do right now is I'm just going to take this to the front of the pack, not to take it away from the guys in the middle. We've actually got Fergie on screen at the moment there. And as you can see, we are only just coming up to the end of the first lap right now, coming around again. But as you can see, it's incredibly tight. Look how close they are. And unsurprisingly, right at the front of the pack, we've got Lorenzo. This guy, I honestly, I couldn't tell you much about him. Speed. Where did the guy come from? I've absolutely
I think he's joined off the race room forums or race rooms Discord. And obviously, seeing what we're racing, and obviously he's very quick in obviously the TCR cars and the GT4 cars. So he's doing an excellent job at the minute.
He most
But
certainly
like I
is.
say, he's a pretty much an unknown. But obviously, he's won 2 of the 3 races so far. So
So I'm just going to jump to Charger right now, who's actually just overtaken Fergie. And as you can see, we've got the 3 GTR4 cars there in very, very close formation as they come through the club chicane. Is that the club chicane speed? I believe it is.
yeah, I think it is. It's one of them that name changes quicker than some people's knickers.
Yeah, you are most certainly right. So taking a look through the field, just popping this back onto auto director for the time. Just to flick through because, quite frankly, there are too many battles going on. There are way too many battles going on here. As you can see, they are insanely close together. And right there, we've got Jam on the GTR4, and he's just on that Audi. As you can see, on the wing, he's just.
Yeah, that section of track really showed how quick the GT4 cars are. And you can see how this TCR car in the high Honda is really on the Evil's rear end at the minute.
All over the back of him. But there it goes. Onto the straight, it's off. So yeah, I mean, that's the advantage of the GTR4 car compared to the WTCR. You can just see that TCR car getting around that corner so much faster.
Is obviously the TCR cars have just got that little bit more grip in the corners versus the GT4, so you can just see it coming through this Maggie's Beckett's Chapel section.
Yeah. So you'll everyone at home, you'll see here on the Hanger Straight. The GTR4 cars just have that advantage, but again, we will see those TCRs getting right up the backside of them and really getting involved with the GT4. So as the race goes on, it'll be interesting to see how it plays out.
Yeah, this looks like a good battle on going on. H2, Fergie, and Tempin with FX and Flack not that far behind.
And again, there's no real consistency, is the speed in terms of the field in the cars. Obviously, this being a multi-class race, although I believe the points actually at the end of the league, it doesn't matter, does it, speed on the class? So it's not actually split between the classes, it's actually dependent on the final race result.
Yeah, it's obviously we kind of didn't realise that it was splitting the two cars up. So obviously you put the GT4 cars behind the TCR cars, because effectively you have to run both cars anyway in the 4 races. Obviously the 2 in the TCR, 2 in the GT4, so it balances itself out in the long run. So I think this is the last time Lorenzo will be in the GT4 car, because he ran Imola last week, obviously Silverstone this week in the Porsche. So he'll be back in his TCR car for the final race next week. But as you can see by the leaderboard on the left hand side, it's not obviously got 2 GT4 cars out front, and then TCR car of Audi, a couple more GT4s, a couple more TCRs, a whole hogging of GT4s, and then it's just spread out. Obviously, the fast guys are going to be the fast guys, and the the not so fast guys are going to be in the middle of the pack, fighting. But I don't see there's been much between the lap times at the minute.
No, absolutely not. You are very right there. It's all over the place. Looking at the timers board, it's incredible. It's going to make for a really really interesting race. Just going back to HQ him, 10-pin charger, Fergie. They're all within a second of each other at the moment.
Yeah, this is gonna. I think it's gonna be like last week, where we had really close battle going on right up until after the pit stops, and then it just seemed to stretch out. So obviously, people made slight mistakes, thinking that they weren't racing with them because they were so far back. But then it's flipped, turned round, and obviously they might be leaps and bounds ahead in front.
Absolutely. Speaking of leaps and bounds ahead in front, we've got Lorenzo out in front right now. I'm just going to flip the camera. And he right now is nearly 5 seconds ahead of our resident alien / Mr. Smug, Rigel. Which is unbelievable, really, speed, isn't it? Because we've gotten some incredibly talented drivers in RWB International, and quite frankly, the man's making us all look like amateurs.
Yeah, he's doing an excellent job. I think me and Tiger said this on last week, where he absolutely dominated the field, and I think he lapped up to 7th place in the race last week, which is no mean feat. And obviously, he's making established people in RWB look like amateurs at the minute.
So I've just very briefly switched to FX because they are very tight. But again, as you can see, as they come round club corner through the chicane and onto the start-finish straight, the GTR4s just start breaking off, don't they? But I mean, look at them getting sideways. They are so difficult to drive on. And on that note, he's actually just overtaken Madly as he got his GTR4 a little bit sideways. Again, you can see that 50 kilogram ballast really taking its toll on the WTCRs, especially through those chicanes. Maggots, notoriously difficult corners to get around quickly, but you can really see it taking its toll on it. It must take its toll on the tyres as well.
Yeah, Silverstone's always been, killer on tyre, because there is a lot of high speed, changing directions. So it is a killer, usually on the left hand side of the tyres, because obviously you got the old turn 1, and obviously the corner that they've just Mark Beans and Flack have just come through at the end of the Wellington Straight. So the Hanger Straight, sorry.
So looking back from FX at the moment, who's in the Lotus, to the Porsche. Now the Porsche is a lot faster. I think it's actually the fastest in the straight line of the GTR4 cars.
Yes, and it's also the one that's more lively. Doesn't it's not as planted as the Lotus. Lotus is the one that it's planted, and you can drive it all day without doing a mistake. That's where the Porsche is one of them that you will make a mistake now and again.
Oh, that's a shame. That's an awful, awful shame. It looks like Jammer has crashed out of the race. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. And there he is in the pits. Oh, yeah, that's Jammer, isn't it? That's so unfortunate.
Gets himself in the bar early, gets himself a few beers down him, and enjoys watching the rest of the race.
That's it, mate. Crack yourself a beer, Jam.
Well, I said the pack seem to spread out a bit now. We've only got really one battle going on, which is this 10-pin H2 FX Scrabble.
Yeah, very much so. Very much so. You are correct there. And again, looking at the top of the pack, Lorenzo's now nearly 7 seconds ahead of Rigel, who's in second. So I'm just going to jump to them for a minute, just to give us an idea of where they are. So I'm just going to jump on board with Audi. Out there on his lonesome. He's used to that though. Living out in the woods on his.
Eric even brought his killing axe with him tonight. He's at the side of him in his car.
Well, he is our resident Norwegian serial killer after all, so I would not put it past him for a second. So I'm going to jump on board with Fergie, right? And as you can see, he is breaking out a gap there, isn't he? He's 5 seconds behind the next car, which is Pinpoint, but right behind him we've got Charger H-Tune, 10-pin and FX.
Well, I'm just going to drag. We've just got an interview coming with Jammer, so he'll be coming into the commentary box right now. Hello, Jammer. How did your race go so far? Up until the point you blew your engine.
Do you know what? It was going really well. I was having some really close racing with Bean and I can't remember who else I was racing now. Very close, and yeah, just completely lost it in the S's. The back end stepped out on me. I think it was the ballast causing the front end to kind of go around to the right, and I just lost the back end. A bit unfortunate, a bit disappointing, but that's racing sometimes.
It's such a shame to hear that, mate. But again, it adds credence to the information that we've been giving the guys at home. We were saying how difficult it is with that 50 kilogram ballast added. It just puts the tyres under extra stress, doesn't it? It makes them. I mean, they're not easy cars to drive anyway, are they?
No, I mean, to be fair, the Audi was, I think, the nicest of the bunch. I tried a few of them out. The Audi seemed to be pretty comfortable, but just, through those S's, it was just a bit tricky. The front left was getting really hot, which I think was causing an issue with the grip as well. So just causing the back end to step out, and just a bit unlucky, really.
It certainly is, mate. It certainly is very, very unlucky. But I am absolutely no stranger to crashing out either, and it's not nice. It's not nice because these guys put an awful lot into the races, don't they, Jammer?
Yeah, absolutely. It is very disappointing when you crash out, but that's the nature of racing, unfortunately, and it happens to everyone. I think everyone's had, disappointing incidents, and just managed to get my pedals sorted again. So I was looking forward to a good long race, and unfortunately, third, fourth lap in, it was the end of it.
Well, you managed to win a championship, taking it off me with the mysterious racing incident for me. I think you paid the blow. But...
yeah, well, we won't talk about that.
I'll drop you back, but it was good to have a chat with you. If you hear anything going on in the comms chat, just give us a shout, and we'll can be our little mini pit lane reporter tonight, Jammer, for the rest of the race.
Yep, sounds good to me. All right, cheers, guys. Thanks a lot.
Jammer. So, looks like Mark Bean's just had a bit of an off there. Speed, he just lost the back end. And again, I mean, what lap are we on here?
Lap 7, 15 minutes into the race. Pit window's about to open, so could get the early pit in, make up some time. But it is a long way to go on tyres around here.
Yeah, absolutely. So, you being ever the expert, Speed, ever the technical wizard when it comes to anything mechanical, anything that's got wheels and goes quick. How do you think it's going to balance the race out when we get the WTCRs? Because I'm not too sure whether the TCRs are actually going to need to pit for extra fuel, whereas the GTR4s are most definitely going to need to pit.
Yeah, it's been stable throughout that. The GT4 cars, they've got a restricted 70 litre tank, so obviously versus the 100 litre tank that the TCR cars. So it has always been that the GT4 cars are just going to need splash of fuel. It's only I think it's 10 to 15 litres depending on the track. Not a great deal, but obviously it's time wasted because it has to switch the engine off, refuel. You have to start back up. As whereas the TCR cars just come straight into the tyre change and they're gone.
I mean, as you can see now, Speed, as you say, we're on lap 7 going on to lap 8, and you can see that the tyres are already starting to go, can't you? You can see the back ends going everywhere, and that's on both classes, the TCR and the GTR4, because they're not the most stable cars out of the box when they've got hot, fresh tyres, are they? So, within 10 laps you can really start to feel the car sliding everywhere, and they are so difficult to control. So again, ultimate respect and props to the guys out there who are racing tonight, because for people like myself who race in VR, it's a very sweaty ordeal. But that's not restricted to just VR. It's so stressful, isn't it?
Yeah, I think any sim race is stressful. It's obviously you put yourself in that environment that you're effectively doing the race just without the physical. You're not dealing with all the G-forces and being strapped into the car, but you're still doing all the mental calculations of judging situations. You're still turning a wheel and on the pedals and stuff like that. So it is really difficult, and especially when you go into VR, when you've got a head, a screen a couple of inches away from your eyes, and you're in that enclosed space. There's a lot of heat being generated. So it is a very difficult situation to be in.
It's very uncomfortable. I can agree with you there. Very uncomfortable indeed. VR or no VR, it's a very high stress situation, and yeah, as you say, Speed, it takes awful lot of concentration. It's very easy though, isn't it, to lose that concentration even for a split second, and that's all it takes, especially for these guys, because they are, every single one of them, whether they're in the front or the back, they're all aliens, aren't they, really? All phenomenal races, and if you do slip up and you do give them that opening, they are going to take advantage of it.
Yeah, like you said, there's anything can make you lose concentration. It can be the stupidest thing sometimes. You looked away for a second wanting to just look at something, or your missus has come in and just distracted you, or your cat's jumped on your keyboard, or you sneezed. It's any little situation can throw it. Even moving around in your chair. You just on the straight have a little shuffle. You might just lose that concentration. Going up on a back market, it's very easy to lose concentration. I think that's the skill. I think it's a skill that people need to develop. Being that focused and retraining the brain to keep that focus for an hour. I think that's where a lot of amateur races in real life. I think that's what their biggest progression is maybe not the driving, but maybe the being in that mental area.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree more. I mean, composure is key, and it is so difficult to hold that composure, especially for an hour. It's an awfully long time to race. But as you can see, I've actually just switched over to Audi, our resident Norwegian, and Rick Binnersley is right up his arse right now. He's actually closed the gap, which I believe it was about 4 seconds, and he's currently less than a second behind. As you can see, he's inhaling his tailpipe fumes right now.
Yeah, Audi had a good start, and obviously with the couple of the GT4 cars coming through the pack, got away quite well. And obviously, I think Rick and obviously Pinpoint's only 4 seconds further back, and he's been closing down on them as well. So I think this GT4 battle is going to be a good one. Be good to speak to the top two once this race is finished, whoever they are.
Yeah, absolutely. So, although, as I say, the TCRs, as we said earlier, they're probably not going to need to refuel. However, there is a mandatory pit for everyone, isn't there, Speed, tonight? And they need to change a minimum of 4 tyres. And now that is not a short pit stop. It's roughly, is it 30 seconds? About 30, 40 seconds?
I think it's 26 seconds for the TCR cars and 31 seconds for the GT4 car. So that's another chunk of time the GT4 cars are going to be losing over the TCRs.
Absolutely, because refueling, as I have learned the hard way in the past, is not a short endeavour. In our Group 5 race at Salzburg Ring a few weeks ago, as you saw me, I was up and down the board throughout the entire race because unfortunately I mistimed my pit stop, I miscalculated my fuel level, and I ended up in the pits for about a minute and 10 seconds, which, in the real world, it's not an awful long time, is it? But in the racing world, that feels like hours. So, looking at this battle, we've got Charger, Tenpin, and Madley all within less than a second of each other right now, and they've been like that for a long time last week, haven't they? They've been that way for a good few laps. So, this
It looks
seems to
like
be the main battle.
Tenpin's getting alongside Charger.
He certainly is. So, just going through Club Corner into the final start-finish straight, coming towards Abbey. We've actually got Tenpin. He's gone through. Well done, Tenpin. Very, very, very clean manoeuvre. Lovely racing. And so
He's not finished the move yet. Charger's still fighting him out there. He's finally backed out of it, but that was awesome going 2v2 through the old first corner.
Absolutely. As they go through maggots at the moment, I mean, I can see these guys going 3 abreast down the Hanger Straight through Chapel Curve towards Stowe. It's going to be very tight and deep, but as you can see, that Tenpin has just got that little lead, so I think he's going to try and take advantage of that now, and he's going to try and let Madley pick off Charger, which by the looks of it he has.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Charger, if he drops behind Madley, might hit in the next lap, give himself some clear track where he's not fighting or defending the people behind him.
So just popping my head into the YouTube channel, we've got a few questions here. We've actually got some new users watching the stream tonight. So UGN669, thanks for tuning in tonight. This is the first time you've watched RWB International Racing. It's an absolute pleasure to have you on board. Please do enjoy the stream, share the link, tell your mates about it, because we are open to racers of all abilities. And Charger's just being taken out by Madley. Oh dear.
Yeah, it's definitely traffic jamming the stadium section of this track.
And look at that. That's true sportsmanship right there. Madley's actually moved aside for him, and he's let him take his position back, and that's what we're all about here at RWB, isn't it, Speed? It's all about racing clean, racing fair. I mean, you can be as fast or as slow as you like, but as long as you carry some form of sportsmanship and etiquette with you, then you are more than welcome to race with us anytime.
Yeah, plus we've got a good diversity of talent and different speed. So no matter where you lie in the pack, I think you're going to find people of your similar speed that you can have a good battle with. So it doesn't. I know a lot of people get put off with that. They don't usually race with people in a pack, so they're usually racing on their own. But we have a good diversity of people, so you can always race with someone of your same abilities.
Absolutely. And as you can see, I've just switched this battle now to Evil. So Audi and Binnesley have actually caught up with Evil. Both of them being in the TCRs. And Evil, as you can see, he's in the Porsche GTR4. And this right here will be a battle to watch, I think, because all three of the races that you can see on screen right now, on board with Evil, with Audi right behind him, Rick Binnersley right behind Audi, it's going to be one to watch, I think, because these guys are absolutely phenomenal, so fast.
Yeah, like we said earlier, at the end of the day, they may be in different car classes, but they're still racing for overall championship points. It's still a battle third overall. So one's in a TCR, one's in a GT4, but it's still a racing at the end of the day. So they're not going to be easy on each other.
Absolutely, and I mean, as you can see, that TCR just absolutely tears the back end out of the Porsche, doesn't it, in the corners? But then, as you get to the straight, it just vanishes into the distance.
Yeah, obviously Audi had to go tight going through the corner.
Just lost it.
Yeah, he'll regather himself, get back in. He's only dropped in a couple of seconds back in the pack. Maybe go in now and get some tyres. Refocus and then come back fighting at the end.
Absolutely. So I think this is the time. So I believe we've got Charger, who's actually the first to pit tonight. And I was about to say, I think this is a good time. This is usually about the time that I pit in the race, just before the halfway mark. Which, it can lead to issues towards the end of the race in terms of tyre lifespan. And it can cause problems, but at the same time, it's also a good strategy as a speed to get in there before anyone else and get back out on the track and make up that time that you've lost.
Yeah, it's one of them. It's one of them really, off the cuff strategies. Getting early. You're gonna have to run your tyres a bit longer. It's not one of my preferred strategies. I prefer to run longer in the first stint. Have the fresher tyres in the second. But it is one of them that you can do. Like we said, each Charger was battling with, Madly FX and not FX, H-Tune and Flak. So obviously, if he's pitted now, he's got them fresh tyres. He could have a lap on them fresh tyres, a bit like the F1, and you get that undercut done.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So Charger's actually running in what place is he in there? He's in 15th place as it stands, but he's one of three people who have pitted so far. So we've got Charger being an FX who have hit the pits, and the rest of the field is still out on that original set of tyres. So to see people like Lorenzo, who's now 15 seconds ahead in first place of second place, which is absolutely mind-blowing to me, to be perfectly honest. Speed, it's unbelievable. It's so quick.
Yeah, it's been another masterclass from Lorenzo again this week.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we're gonna have to ban him from any future RWB events. He's making us all look like idiots. I kid Lorenzo. I'm only joking, mate.
Cosler's just nipping into the pits now. So you can see him slowly streaming into the pits. I think the pit window is open till 15 minutes to go. So that's how they've got 30 minutes to get in the pits. Get the mandatory pits done. Doesn't mean they can't come back in. If they get damaged and pit, it just means that you have to do one pit within this mandatory 30-minute window to be deemed in the results at the end.
Yeah, absolutely. So on board with Evil right now. I'm just going to pop us on the wing cam because, again, Rick Binnersley's right up his chuff, isn't he? He's given him absolutely no breathing.
Yeah, you can just see now this Porsche, unleashing its legs. It's pulled that, half a second so far, just going out the chapel onto the hangar straight. But you can just see that time's been caught back just into that one corner alone.
You can't you? I mean, look at the speed that carried in. Oh, he's giving it a go.
Yeah, Evil's jumped into the pits. Obviously needs some fresh tires, as we've got Lorenzo in the pits as well, from the lead.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's given Rigel, resident Mr. Smug, first place now. So it's going to be interesting how he deals with that, whether he's going to stay out for a little bit longer, if he's going to try and make up a little bit of extra time to get ahead of him on the next couple of laps. But again, that's going to be difficult, isn't it? Because he's still running that original set of tyres, and they're not easy to drive on a good day. So whether he can make up that time difference or not is a different question altogether.
Also, one thing that Lorenzo's come out, behind temping and stuff like that, hasn't pitted. So if he gets hauled up, maybe has a slight accident, spins off, that could play into Rigel's hand, as well as Rigel's just waiting it out. From now on, there's going to be less and less people pitting because they've already done their pits. So it's all a chance that he can, gain more and more time. And Lorenzo is is in the pack, fighting with people that are on the, fighting for position.
Yeah, absolutely. So as you can see right now, we're on board with H-Tune. Now, it looks like he's quite far behind in their speed, doesn't it? It looks like that's flack that we're looking back at there. But what you can see there is actually 0.7 second difference. It looks a little bit closer now that we've come to a corner, but on a straight look, you wouldn't think we were that close.
No, that's just because of the speed that they're travelling. Obviously, the faster you go in, the speed, the time difference was greater. But it's kudos to these people that they can race at, this close. Obviously that H2 driving the Porsche and Flax in the Lotus, but obviously Flax in H-Tune's dirty air, so you'll be getting a little bit of understeer, using his tyres a bit more. The GT4 car tyres do overheat quite easily, so that's another thing to take into consideration. They do overheat the tyres a lot more than the TCR cars, as Rigel's gone to pits now.
Yep. Yeah, we can see that. So this will be very interesting to see how this is going to play out, really, because we've still got half the field out there waiting to pit. So it'll be interesting to see where Rigel comes out. I mean, we've got Fergie, who's actually now leading the race in first place. Obviously, that's due to the fact that he hasn't pitted yet. So these mandatory pits really add a new dynamic to the race.
Yeah, it just spices it up. Obviously, it gives you everyone has to pit. So if you get damage on the first lap, stay out. Wait the 15 minutes. You may lose time. And then do your mandatory pit as soon as possible. It gives you that, for a fact, you're going to still lose out because you've still got to do that repair, but you're not going to lose out massively because you've had to do a pit where nobody else is pitting.
Yeah, and as you can see there, as Binnersley comes out the pits, we had Audi and Pinners. I believe it was Audi actually who just came around the corner. And who's that? Who's just come off there in the Lotus? Is that Justin?
That's Madley, the Welshman, the sheep shagger, as he's well known for.
Absolutely, as we say, the burn peat, shag sheep, and then they eat the meat.
He even gave us a little flash there to acknowledge that we were saying that about him.
Bastard.
Yeah, there's only 4 people left to pit. Fergie in first temping, H-Tune and Madley the last 4 to pit. That could have been a costly mistake for Madley, because he was battling with Charger, Flack and FX at the time when they pitted.
So as you can see here, we're on board with Tenpin, who's yet to pit. He's one of the few left who haven't pitted yet. And as you can see, right on him is Lorenzo, who has actually pitted. He's got a fresh set of tyres on him. So it'll be interesting to see here if he actually goes into the pits, which he is. Yeah, he's actually got it.
Yeah, that got temping out there. That Lorenzo got on the inside of him because obviously he must be running low on fuel. And he had to, give it a little break, and obviously, let Lorenzo pass to get into the pits because I don't think he could have done an extra lap.
No, definitely not, especially not at this point in the race with 25 minutes to go. So we are 35 minutes in now. Those tyres will be absolutely bare on. They will just be split to pieces. There'll be no tread left on them.
Yeah, it'd be like racing around on chewing gum. You know, you're just understeering everywhere, and if you try and get on the power, you just get a little bit more oversteer than you would like. Yeah, it's not a nice feeling racing around on worn tyres, but you have to do it. It's part of racing. No, we can't turn it off, and like we can do in games, like in real life, you have to suffer with tyre wear.
So as we race around here tonight at Silverstone, for those who don't know, it actually used to be a World War II Royal Air Force bomber station, RAF Silverstone, which opened in 1943. The base was operational for a number of years. Actually, I haven't got the number in front of me at the moment, but the airfield's 3 runways in the classic World War II triangle format lie within the outline of the present track, so they are actually still there. For those who would ever want to visit them, why you want to do that, I don't know, but they are still there. Nice little fun fact for you.
And it's where the name Hangar Straight comes from, because it runs alongside where the hangars used to be on the infield.
I was channeling my inner tiger there.
Well, I expect Tigers to be gagged up and, stood in the corner of the commentary box when I turned up. So obviously I saw Paddy doing the commentary, and I thought, where's my good buddy Tiger? I expect him to be moaning and groaning in the background of the commentary box. He's probably in some field somewhere, with a couple of sheep that he's borrowed from Manley.
Yeah, him and Gabsy, middle of a field, giving a sheep a load of bumming. As you can see, Gabsy is unfortunately not present tonight either. Because as stated, he is in field somewhere with Tiger. I wouldn't put that past him for.
Showing him how to do it properly.
Well, he is Welsh, isn't it, man? They do it properly. They do it the best.
That's why you always see Welshmen with Wellingtons on, so they can put the sheep legs inside it so they can't run away.
Well, you can never be too prepared, can you, Speed?
Yeah, and the bottle of chloroform as well, just in case.
Just in case. So, fantastic battle going on still between Pinpoint and Bisley. Now, both of these guys aren't slow, but look, they're really, really giving it something. As you can see, Audi, which is unsurprising, he is taking advantage of the fact that these two guys are battling it out with each other, and he is using that to his advantage just to get ahead. But going back to the back of the pack right now, I say the back of the pack, it's the middle of the pack really. We've got Madley. Now Cos is right up the chuff of Madley. He's less than a second behind him. Just take a look back. So we've got Madley in the Lotus, and just behind him we've got Cos in that KTM Crossbow, which is not the easiest car to drive, is it? I mean, in my experience, I've had a little drive, and it's very, very slidey.
Yeah, the KTM is all about carrying the speed through because it doesn't have the top speed, so you're obviously pushing it more in the corners. And yeah, now and again it does break loose a bit more than the other cars in the class. But this battle's really hotting up between Pinners and Binnersley. Obviously, Mr. Norwegian himself.
Absolutely. The Norwegian. Going back, I'm just going to move back a few places right now. So Fergie's come out of the pits. He's actually taking a look at the board. He's come out of the pits in 9th place, which isn't really too bad, is it? Considering. But he's got Evil right on him.
Yeah, obviously Evil lost that massively in the pit sequence. He was up in 3rd place. I don't know what's happened to him in the pits, but maybe I can get a quick word from him, after the race, all the things finished. But yeah, that seems a long way to drop down, seeing that he was only 10 or so seconds racing behind Rigel.
So I'm just going to jump to Charger right now. In fact, no, I'm going to go back to Binnersley because Pinpoint is only 0.34 seconds behind him.
Yeah, I think Pinners is playing the let's not fight, let's catch Audi and then put some pressure on Audi race. Obviously, Audi got away quite good in the stars. Audi's dropping down the field.
Oh, yeah, it looks like Audi's just lost it. That's a shame. That's a shame. But you know, as we know, Audi he's an alien, isn't he? He is such a talented racer, and he's very composed as well. Incredibly composed. So even though he has just had a little off there and he's lost it onto the grass, I've no doubt in his ability, and I'm sure that he's kept his composure, and we will see a battle between these three guys again very, very soon. But just jumping back to RWB Flack, who's got Justin Madley right on him just as they come towards, I believe that is.
It's the new
Where
bit
is
of
that?
track. It's coming onto the Wellington Straight at the minute. Down towards Lovefield and the other corner. Can't remember the name of.
Towards Brooklands. That's right. Towards Brooklands, which leads into Lovefield. So Madley's taken that. He's taken advantage of that, and he's made a move on him. But as you can see, he's just run wide. He's just run a little bit wide. I mean, it doesn't look like much, does it, speed? But that, I would say that is probably one of the hardest and most technical corners on the circuit. Whether you agree with me or disagree with me on that, it's an incredibly long apex, and you've got to bear in mind that you are coming off the back straight, which is not slow either. So you are braking, turning. It's got a very, very late apex. It's almost a double apex, isn't it?
Yeah, it's one of them. Yeah, it's classed as a double apex. It's one of them that you usually say half a car's width wide in the first part. So you're on the line to where you can clip the second apex. It is a very difficult one because it's one of them where you're coming from high speed. You're actually turning in before you're braking in some cars. So you want to get you get your turning done. You line up with your theoretical apex, and then you start braking. Get the car slowed down, and then you clip this last apex. It's a really tough section of track.
It is. It is. I mean, now Silverstone, I have to say, it's not one of my favourite tracks out there. It's not. It's certainly not my favourite British track. Um, but it's not the worst track either. It's not my favourite, and at the same time, I don't hate it. It's very difficult. I mean, as you can see there, Pinners and Audi are really, really getting at each other out there, aren't they? But as you can see, Pinners is ahead of Audi now, but Audi has taken advantage and he's passed Binnesley again, even though he had that a little off. It looks like he's composed himself again.
Yeah, it was like I said. Now Pinners is leading the TCR cars, so we could be talking to the Pinners, the British Bulldog. The
British Bulldog indeed, yeah.
so we could be having a word with Pinners. So watch out.
You can really, really see. I think Audi's having a tough time on those tyres, isn't he?
Yeah, I think was he the first of the TCRs to pit? Obviously pitted a lot earlier than these two, so maybe just worn out a bit.
And it looks like Binnesley's going to get right up the inside of him there. Well done, Rick. That was a lovely, clean pass. I mean, whether it sticks or not, because you need to remember that Audi's got that inside line now, coming into the club, and he's taken him.
Yeah, and also on that previous lap, Renzo just set the fastest lap of the race and won a 2:11.913, which is rapid. It's almost 2 seconds quicker than the second quickest lap, of the race. A second and a half quicker than what Nigel's done.
So just to give the guys at home an idea of the kind of lap times that we're doing, they seem to be floating around the 213, 214, 215s. That seems to be the majority of the field. But to give you an idea of how quick Lorenzo is in first place, he's done a 2:11. Which is mind-blowing, to be perfectly honest with you.
Yeah, he's over a second quicker in the second sector. We don't get a third sector comparison, but the second sector is almost, well, he's over a second quicker than the first sector. There is 6/10 quicker than 6/10 quicker than Rigel. So it just proves just how dominant he's been in the past 3 races.
Yeah, absolutely. It really has been dominant, hasn't it?
Yeah, had a good battle with Rodders in the first race, but Rodders has been on vacation for the last 2 races. I can't remember if he's going to return for the last race, but it'd be good to see him come back. Maybe give Lorenzo a run for his money in the last race.
Yeah, absolutely. I've got to agree with you there. I mean, Rodders is really the only person who's pushed Lorenzo, isn't he? Which was in the first heat, which was Zandvoort. Was it Zandvoort? Yes, it was Zandvoort, wasn't it?
Yes.
He really, really gave him a run for his money. It was a phenomenal race, very, very close, but he never let off, did he? He was on him the entire race. He unfortunately didn't manage to get past him, but again, that's the nature of the track itself, because it's quite a narrow track. A lot of the corners are very, very hard to pass on. There's very few passing points on the track itself, so for them to maintain that level of close racing without any kind of crashes or offs, again, it's testament to the skill of the guys out on the grid.
Yeah, and to be honest, the crashes that we've had this season aren't been multiple cars getting into each other. It's just been lonesome accidents like jammers spin into the barrier. Obviously, I can't remember the name of the driver did it in Imola, and the same in Zandvoort. It's not like accidents where people are racing and then obviously hit each other. That have ended people's races. It's been mistakes on their behalf that have ended the race. So it just shows the caliber of close racing that goes on.
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree more. So I've just had a little message from one of our guys, TK421, who unfortunately he's not racing tonight, but again, he's another solid, consistent racer, and he's made me aware that 3 sheep tied to a lamppost is a Welsh leisure centre, and I'd say that's a pretty accurate statement.
I have to agree with you.
So just jumping back to Charger right now, and by the looks of it, he's got H-Tune right on the back of him. So Charger is down in 11th place at the moment, with H-Tune again less than a second behind him. So the Porsche should really pull out the legs on the Lotus here, because it is the quickest GTR4 out there in a straight line. However, the Lotus is much better in the corners, and that was he's just braked a little bit too late, and he's lost it. It's so unfortunate.
Yeah, also to give YouTube a heads up, we'll be talking to the first 2 of each class. So that currently at the minute that stands to be Lorenzo and Rigel, John Haig, and Pinpoint and Rick Binnersley, Audi, whoever it is that speaks to. But we're also going to start opening up the vote for the racer of the meeting, and we'll also drag them down and have a quick chat with them at the end. So that'll be opening in 10 minutes to go. So get your thinking caps on. Obviously, I'm going to pose the questions to Paddy, who he thinks his man of the meeting is, and I'll give you mine, and then we'll tally it up, and then we'll pull that person down as well as the top 2 from each class.
Yeah, and I tell you what, Speed, it's not going to be an easy decision, is it? Because everybody has been phenomenal tonight, but there have been a real select few in the group who have just raced phenomenally. They've been absolutely outstanding. These 3, for instance, they have been at each other all night long throughout the entire 60 minutes of the race, whether it was before or after the pits. They've just been on each other's back, and you can really see those tyres just starting to go now with 11 minutes and 10 minutes, just short of 11 minutes to go. They're really going to struggle in this last session of the race now, I think.
Well, they've been treating these cars out like a set of cheap hookers. They've been chucking them around, for the last 50 minutes. So the last 10 minutes they're on the vinegar strokes now. So I can see the load getting blown in a couple of laps. The desperate moves, coming. because at the end of the day, you're racing for position. I can't believe how close it is. Just a slight mistake from pinpoint there has allowed Audi to get a good run, down the hanger straight, and Bindesley has just dropped him behind him. Get a 2-for-1 deal.
Yeah, so it looks like Audi might very well take him into Stoke Corner, and he has. Yeah, he's gone up the inside of Pinners. So it'll be interesting to see how these last few laps play out now, because we are really, really in the twilight hours of the race now. We are coming to the end of it. So Pinners just takes it back. He's unfortunately knocked Audi, but that is racing. We are going to exchange a bit of paint every now and again, speed.
Yeah, a bit of rubbings, a bit of racing in these touring car classes. Maybe when you go up in class, you can't rub as much because it affects the car too much. But these touring cars, they're built to have a few scrapes in the race.
Exactly, mate. And
bit of hip checking into car.
Absolutely, and who doesn't enjoy a little bit of rubbing, eh?
We know Charger does.
Oh well, that goes without saying, mate. He's the resident pervert, isn't he?
Yeah, he must go through some tissue. He must go through some tissues.
So looking back now from pinpoint, as we come. Oh. So unfortunately, he's just lost a little bit of time there, and it's given Pinners the advantage, hasn't it? He could very well pull away now. We are in the dying minutes of the race with 8.5 minutes to go. It might just give him that advantage. So jumping back to Cos right now, and he's got H-Tune right on the back of him once. And I've no doubt that we are going to see that Porsche overtake the KTM as we head down the Wellington.
Yeah, you can just see, even the Porsche versus this KTM, it's pretty much like the Porsche versus WTCR car. It has so much, pull on it, top speed.
And there he is. There he goes.
So yeah, officially open the voting to start for the driver of the meeting. So I'm going to take your vote in a minute, then Paddy, then I'll give you mine.
Absolutely. So yeah, as Speed says, just to reiterate that, guys, and that's everyone who's on the stream, watching at home, anybody who's in the channel, anybody involved in the race, please do get those votes in. Just jumping back to these two guys, toughing it out with each other, ripping each other to pieces. Rick Binnesley just gets ahead of Audi there, just as we come down the Wellington Straight through Brooklands towards Luffield. I mean, Audi, he's no snowflake, is he? He's not going to let that. He's not going to let that slide. He's going to be on until the bitter end.
Yeah, it's going to be a close race. No matter what, I think this is going to go right down to the checker flag. So I don't think we're going to know who we're going to be dragging into the chat after, in the interviews after the race for the TCR cars, because it could be changing, as we cross the line. I think the GT4 car's pretty much sealed. It's going to be Lorenzo and Rigel. But I'm going to put my vote on for the race of the meeting to Fergie. I think he's done a really impressive job tonight. Currently running fourth in the GT4 class. He's not that far behind Beans. I know we've had a lot of votes for Pinners, but I think Pinners is going to be the one of the TCR guys we speak to. So I like to choose someone outside the top two.
Yeah, absolute speed. No, I think I do agree with it. Now, Pinez he's raced an absolutely phenomenal race tonight. He's been unbelievable. The battles out there have been absolutely great. Now, I mean, although we're not watching them right now, checking the leaderboards, Pinez, Binnesley, and Audi are still within less than a second of each other. But Fergie has raced an outstanding race out there tonight. He's been outstanding. Now, here's my boy Fergie. I have to give him a shout out. He's my boy from Northern Ireland. It's good to see you out there tonight, mate. You've raced a blinder.
Yeah, he's been super consistent of late. To be honest, I think we voted for him last week as well because he did an outstanding performance.
He does every time, doesn't he? He's so consistent, and consistency is really important out there, isn't it? Whether you're fast or not, consistency is key because it only takes one mistake for someone, and then you take full advantage of that. Now he's currently running in 7th place. Now we did see him in first earlier, but as we know, that was during the pits. I'm not too sure where he qualified those speeds. Have we a way to tell if where he qualified, where he started on the grid?
I haven't. Obviously, I got in just as the race was due to start, mate. So I don't think. I wonder if someone in the YouTube chat could probably go back through the video and just give us a screen link in Discord, and we can maybe give you.
I've absolutely no doubt some smart arse will correct us on that. So please do get that to us.
Yeah, but obviously this battle's getting hotter and hotter now. Now Binnesley's in second. Obviously, he manages to close down the gap to Pinners.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
with 3 minutes 30 left. I don't know whereabouts Lorenzo. Let's just have a quick go. Whereabouts he's just crossed the line. So let's go back to this battle. So I think we've possibly got another 2 laps. I said 2 laps left of the race.
Yeah, with them putting in roughly between 2 minutes and 11 seconds and 2 minutes 17. Being the slowest lap out of them. We're looking at 2 laps. So look at them go as they've come down the hanger straight round Stoke Corner, through the very very subtle vale and up to the club chicane. We've lost Pinners. When we've lost Audi.
Audi and Binnesley just got together slightly into that breaking point, and handed a 5 second lead to Pinners. So just focus now, mate. Just keep your head down.
Yeah,
Don't get excited yet. The fat girl's not sing.
Not quite yet. My apologies there. I said pinpoint. I did actually mean Binnesley. Yeah. So that is an awful shame. Although they haven't lost any positions, which is good. They have actually held onto the positions. It's a shame they've lost that time to Pinners because they were so tight. They have been for the last 35 minutes or so. They've been on each other without any kind of respite whatsoever.
Yeah, I think he's still not over. Obviously, I think Binnesley might have just lifted, let Audi catch right up to him. I think that was a 50-50 accident. So let's continue the racing, mate, and get back into it type thing.
Absolutely. So just going further down the pack now to Charge, who's got 10 pin right on him. And again, these guys have been on each other pretty much consistently for the last 20-25 minutes or so. Now I do apologise, guys, if I've not covered the entire field tonight. Now it has been quite difficult, hasn't it, Speed, because there have only really been a couple of battles ongoing, which have been really tight. The pack has been very very spread, but looking at Charger there, looks like he's just gone a little bit wide and he's lost it to 10 pin.
This is obviously Tenpin's second race back, since coming back from his sabbatical. So he's showing good, same pace he had when he left. So it's a good shine for us. As Audi's that close to Enrique Binnesley, I think he can smell what underwear he's got on.
Absolutely, mate. He'll be able to taste what he ate for dinner yesterday. There he goes, just as we come around Vale Corner into, and he's as I said earlier, Speed. He's not going to give him an inch, is he? He's really not going to give up, Audi. Very tenacious, the Scandinavian, if not all serial killers.
Yeah, Audi's one of the nicest gents you're going to meet. I don't think I've ever heard him, shout at someone. Maybe once or twice. So he's the calm one of the honchos.
Absolutely. I mean, the only time I've heard Audi shout is to maintain race comms, and it's usually me breaking them.
Maybe come back on board with Lorenzo. Yeah, so Lorenzo's obviously on his last lap now.
And it looks like he's catching up to a back marker there as well, Speed. Who is that? Is that Fredericos? Oh, no, it's not. I'm not too sure who that is, actually, the back marker.
Because has got past Cos. H-Tune? Or Flack?
Is it
Could be
Flack?
Flack.
It's Flack, yeah, it is indeed Flack. So it looks like Lorenzo is actually just coming up to Flack now. He's running in, I believe, 13th place right now. So that would mean that he's overtaken 16th, 15th, and 14th place to get where he is right now. So, again, massive respect to that guy. He's an unbelievable driver.
Yeah, that was obviously a good race. He got a massive lead over Rigel, which is Rigel's no slow coach.
Absolutely
And,
not. It's very rare to see that, isn't it?
Yeah, but I'm wanting to sneak back onto this Audi battle. I would want to watch, where everyone go across the line, but this Audi Pinsley battle's not over yet. Coming into the last 3 or 4 corners.
Absolutely
Coming
not.
into Stowe, Bale in the club.
Yep, so just coming through Stowe right now, as Speed says. Then we've got Vale, we've got the club chicane in the final corner over the start finish straight. So we have 1, 2, 3 corners left now. Oh, and he's just lost it. Oh, unlucky, Rick. Unlucky, mate. That was so unlucky because there it is, the start finish straight as they come over the line. That was so unfortunate. But guys, phenomenal, fantastic racing. Well done.
So obviously we've had the top 2 from each class, so we know we're going to bring down. Who's the 4th we're going to bring down? Who are we voting for man of the meeting? I think with that last couple of laps, I think he's going to have to Binnersley. I want to speak to the top 3 that came in the TCR class.
Absolutely.
I think that's my vote.
Absolutely. If I'm honest with you, Speed, I would like to drag all 3 of them in. I'd like to pull in Rick Binnersley, Audi, and Pinners, if you don't mind, if that'd be okay. It'd be nice to speak to all 3 of them, if not just Rick, and just get their thoughts on the race itself.
Well, we'll be dragging down Lorenzo, John, Pinpoint, Audi, and I think my vote for man of the meeting. Oh, so he's going to get dragged down. I think Rick Binnersley. I think that was an outstanding, race between him, Pinpoint, and Audi.
Yeah, phenomenal drive. Absolutely phenomenal drive.
As Flack is the last person to pass, finish the race. I'll give him a couple of minutes, have a chill. They've just done an hour, an hour and a half of, pure racing. So if Paddy wants to give you a rundown, I'll just jump up there and tell I'm going to be dragging them down.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the last thing they want right now is to be abused by a Scouser and a Yorkshire. So again, guys at home, anybody who are watching the live stream on YouTube, we've already had a number of votes, but please do drop the names of your favourite racer in there, or if you've got a vote for the man of the match, the racer of the night, please do let us know, and we will count them. So just now we've got Rick Binnersley, we've got Mr. Smug, Rigel, John Haig. We've got Pinpoint, we've got Lorenzo, and we have Audi to interview. Now, guys, what can I say? Absolutely phenomenal drive from everyone.
Oh, I am sweating buckets.
Yeah, you're not wrong there.
Yeah, I'm not surprised, guys. I'm really not surprised. So, Audi, Rick, and Pinners, I mean, guys, what a race. Absolutely outstanding. You are absolutely hanging off the back end of each other for the last 35 or 40 minutes. We did see Rick and Pinners come out of the pits just ahead of you, Aldi. And that's where it all began. And it didn't end.
It was brilliant. That is one of my best races I've ever had.
And me.
And all respect to Pinos and Rick. You fought hard, defended good, and it was difficult, and it was fun.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. A lot of fun. It was. I've not had a race like that for a long time, so it's quite enjoyable just to have a good battle. And I think we all made silly mistakes and give each other the lead of the class at times.
Yeah,
but yeah, it was good. It was great fun actually. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, guys. I mean, huge respect to all three of you. I mean, as you say, you all made your own mistakes, but every single one of you held your composure throughout, and you brought it right back, and you just kept entertaining and kept entertaining and kept entertaining. It was absolutely phenomenal, unbelievable. But with all three of you in the TCRs, how did you find the 50 kilogram ballast? Because you really all three of you looked like you were really struggling, especially in the last 10 minutes of the race with the tires and the extra weight on the car. It looked so difficult out there.
Only me affected through the S's. It's the only time I felt the weight of the 50 kilos. But yeah, it's the only place. But best race I've ever been in.
Actually, I think that car gets a little bit more stable with the extra weight. I had a couple of laps on Zolder earlier today without ballast, and it was skittish as hell. So. Especially on the back end. So I think it actually benefits from the ballast. It gets a bit more stable. It's a fun car. And it held its speed with the GT4, so I was expecting it to be a bit slower.
I'll concur with that because it took me a little while to get past you at the beginning. I was just settling down and bedding in and just steady working up my pace and trying not to make any silly mistakes, and in the end I think I frightened you off the track a little bit.
Yeah, I did. No, I struggled with that corner. Or two corners I was struggling with the whole race, and that was that corner before the S's and the arena corner. I think it's turn 3 or 4, I think.
That Porsche just went past me like I was standing still with evil in it.
Yeah, that's one of the things that we did mention at the beginning. Obviously, the insanely long legs on the Porsche, so quick in a straight line. But again, guys, it's again a testament to how well you guys can handle those cars, because they're not easy. They're very difficult to drive. And it was a very field out there tonight. There was no bias really from either class. It was a completely mixed field. And on that note, the one man who hasn't spoken yet, Silent Pod, Lorenzo, what are your thoughts on the race, my friend? Because what can I say? Absolutely phenomenal. You finished the race 33 seconds ahead of second place, who was, one of our resident aliens, Rigel.
Yeah, thanks. Well, I expected the race to be a little bit more in favor of the GT4's cars, to be honest. But for the first laps, I saw a Hyundai, I don't remember who it was, right in my mirror for quite some time. So it was balanced.
That was me.
Yeah, that was Pinpoint in the white Hyundai. And yeah, I mean, again, we were watching it in the commentary box, and it was so entertaining to see. I mean, I'd never thought in a million years that we'd see the kind of tight racing between the two classes that we have seen over the last 3. But Lorenzo, you've been fantastic. You've absolutely dominated all 3 of the rounds so far. I believe you've won every race. So well done. Huge respect. Great consistency, great speed. But that doesn't take anything away from any of the other guys, because as you've seen tonight, people, it's been, again, so tight and so entertaining to watch.
Congratulations, Lorenzo, mate.
Yeah, good job. Again.
Thanks.
Yeah, excellent.
Brilliant.
Well done, Rigel, with that second.
I have to say I'm an apprentice alien. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Where's that Mr. Smug that we all know and love, Rigel? Hey?
Oh, he's here, but I just had a quiet race again. I thought I'd pick the most popular class for tonight, but I just found myself in a gap with 20 seconds to the guy in front and 20 seconds to the guy behind, and that was that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And on that note, we've come to the conclusion that our racer of the meet is Rick Binnersley tonight, because he's been absolutely phenomenal, so consistent, so fast. But again, it was so hard. It's between a few people tonight. Pinpoint yourself as well, and and Ardy as well, because it's been so difficult to choose.
Congrats, Rick.
Yeah, well deserved.
Cheers, thank you.
Very, very well deserved, guys. And on that note, Speed, have you got anything to end up?
No, it was just a cracking. Obviously, I came in just as the race started to the commentary box. Well, that was a cracking race from Lorenzo. Obviously, a cracking race from the three in the TCR cars, and a lonely race for Rigel, which makes me smile.
I've got to be honest, it does make my lip twinge a little bit as well.
Oh, thank you very much.
we love you. We love you, really, Raj. But to everyone at home, thanks for tuning in, guys. It's been, again, a fantastic race. And for anybody who's still watching the stream, please do tune in next Saturday, because we have the final showdown, which is at Zolder in Belgium. So it will be another one to watch, and keep your eye on everybody who's been in their battles tonight, because it's going to be incredibly, incredibly tight. So to everyone at home and everybody watching the stream, thank you for tuning in, and we will see you next week.